Last year I came down here to LBL to hunt and had the privilege of jumping a feller off. Battery went dead because he didn't know how to turn his lights out, and lo and behold, we had a mutual friend, and here we are again this year. And Hutch is quite the storyteller, and I could sit around and listen to him all day, all night, and I think y'all viewers would like it, so I'm going to do a little interview style, ask him some questions, and hopefully y'all like it. What do you think about it? You ready? You ready to do a little talking?
I'm ready, brother.
Alright. Now, Poochie, you can have your seat back. We'll go here.
Little feller.
So you've been hunting here for how long? What year did you start coming down here, or what time frame? And how long you been coming to LBL?
You're gonna make me do some pretty serious mathematics here. Actually, I'm almost positive I was 8 years old the first time I came to LBL, getting ready to turn 9. 58 right now, not getting ready to turn 59, so I guess that's 49 years actually. A lot of people would call it 50. I'm gonna call it 50. You get that close. 50 years is a long time. A lot of changing all around my neighborhood. Houses going up everywhere. It's crazy. Crazy how just development just takes over, change takes over. Everything's different. You drive through the front entrance out here right between the lakes. Not a lot of change. When I first started coming in here, there was a lot of houses. It was really interesting. I can remember me and my sister going in a house, log cabin, in behind the Cherry Cemetery. Probably turn in at Cherry Cemetery in Area 12, go back that road a lot further than you can go now, and there was a log cabin back there. We had one of our first four-wheel drive trucks, 1974 GMC. We had a cab over camper on that thing. Dad made that thing go everywhere. I mean, it would just, we plowed through that mud and went, I mean, he always had a determination to get further back than everybody else. And we went back there and, well, we killed deer, killed a lot of deer. We didn't wait on good ones them days. We just, numbers is what we were after. And we ate everything. We didn't buy any meat from the grocery store. We ate everything. Our whole meat diet was fish, rabbit, quail, and every now and then you got the specialty, the good stuff, the frog legs. That was awesome. Or my Aunt Dorothy, she could pick some of the best quail you ever had. That was unbelievable. That's all we ever got to eat was, I mean, I don't know, it kind of sounds like I make that out as being bad, but no, that was the best thing you could ever imagine. Hell of a lot better than this damn New York strip. It's going to be delicious that I'm fixing right here, right now. Yeah, times has really changed, and it's just, you come in here and it's unbelievable how really nothing has changed. Nothing. I mean, when I first started coming in here, the houses, I was started to tell you, the houses back behind Cherry Cemetery, there was some parts of them were gone, but there were still parts of them. We went in there and golly, there was newspaper clippings still on the wall. Gosh, I wished. I mean, it'd probably been illegal and all, but they just got destroyed. They're gone forever. But there was all kinds of articles in there. They had made like wallpaper out of newspaper clippings about the University of Tennessee volunteers. I can't tell you what for sure year it was. 30s, 40s, somewhere right in there. I think they ran most of the people out here in the 50s. What I'm talking about was probably in the early 70s. So 20 years after everybody was gone. It's unbelievable looking back on it. I didn't think about it at that time. It's unbelievable, just you erase human existence, how quick it goes back to the norm, what it once was. There'll always still be the remnants, but it's unbelievable just in 20 years. I mean, You couldn't. It didn't look like people ever lived there. All kinds of stuff grown up all around it. Some of the best places to hunt was the people's yards because that was the best thickets. So, I mean, lots of times you were setting up 15, 20 yards of an old dwelling that people used to live in 25 years before I was sitting there. Kind of a sad story, all those people losing their place.
Yeah.
Several people upset over that. I could certainly understand why.
So what do you enjoy most about coming back here? Like, I know
The
you come back
solitude,
every year.
definitely. The solitude, definitely. Just being out here, just you're really kind of out of reach of the stores, and yeah, you can fire the vehicle up, and drive 40 minutes out to a store, but 40 minutes back, you don't want to take that much time out of your day. You know, just you have to be self-reliant out here, and
Yeah.
it's quiet. It's you just
Other than the coyote.
well, that's silence. A lot of places in this world never gets quiet enough to hear the silence. Hoot owls, coyotes, whippoorwills, crickets, all the things you hear in the night, just so many of the places, the dark, the sky. I just wished everybody one time could see this sky. I mean, there's stars up here. When you're at home, there ain't no stars. I mean, not compared to this.
I never
Too,
thought of it like that.
too many surrounding lights. There's stars out here. There's 3 times as many stars out here as there is at home. And I live in a farming community. What used to be, really ain't no street lights or anything now. But still doesn't get as dark as it does down here. I went down to load the boat a little while ago, just 30, 45 minutes after dark, and I mean, I never carry a flashlight. I can see all the time. Not down here, almost like being in a cave. It's dark. It's dark. I think it's 2 or 3 days after the new moon. Just a little slither. And boy, it wasn't very high. Didn't do much for illuminating anything.
So, we know you've been here for many years, coming here. So, what's some of your absolute favorite? What's your favorite memory, or something that you look back on and it's just? I know we ain't got time for all of them, but what's the one you like remember the most? I guess.
Well, first off, when I get started talking, I'll talk forever, so I've always got the time. You're the only one that doesn't have the time to listen to me. I mean, I'll keep talking. But some of my most favorite times, some things just. My dad brought me down here. My dad's everything from outdoors. All my hunting, all my fishing. My dad did that. He got me into this. I don't think he realized how addicted I would get to it. How much it ruled my life. It's hunting and fishing has ruled my life. But, my fondest memories, I wish I could say, was my 13 pointer, which is my biggest buck that I ever got.
That's the next question. So we got that one out of the way.
Well, he's a 13 pointer.
Let's hear about it. How'd it go down?
I probably can't tell every bit of it, but I guess you can edit it what you need to out. But anyway, it's like the night before Halloween, if I'm not mistaken. Right at the very, very end of October. I had scouted this deer and didn't have no idea really what I was looking at. I had found some huge tracks, some rubs that looked like they should have been on cedars that could have easily been cut for fence posts. I mean, they were big rubs, bigger than my leg above my knee. Didn't have no idea, I knew I was dealing with a good deer, one with a lot of authority, so he thought. Well, I went in there and I scouted out no white oaks whatsoever, no feeding sign. Well, I did find some feeding sign under some red oaks, very, very scarce red oaks. I found a little feeding sign under this one, and I followed his tracks. I mean, his track was so much bigger than all the other deers. You could follow his tracks, and I followed it down into just this really, really thick stuff. And I mean, it took me forever following those tracks because you could find some of them you couldn't, and I'd get down when we'd get in the leaves on the road beds and stuff. It was easy where he was across the road beds where I actually found his tracks first. And I took and got down on my hands and knees and was pulling leaves out of his tracks, following him to see which way he was going. Just, if I could get 20 or 30 or 40 yards, that's more information than what I had. Well, I ended up taking this deer about 60 yards before I got confused and couldn't figure out. But he was headed right straight towards a peninsula, a very, very thin little peninsula, no proper, 3/4 of an acre, maybe, tiny, but boy, it didn't even have a tree on it, just real, real thick, like buck bushes, just gnarly, very gnarly. So, I thought, all right, as soon as I seen that, I was like, that's where he's bedding, and he could be there now, so, I backed out of there like on pins and needles, got out, and left there, and I told my buddies and all that, man, I think I found a good deer, I think I found a real good deer, and that afternoon, the weather took a turn. It was really, really warm, like 78 degrees, I think, that day. Wind was blowing. Had a bad front coming in, a real strong front. The high the next day was going to be like in the 40s. Well, that wind was coming in. Gosh, I think it was blowing in Nashville 38 miles an hour that day is what the radio said, I think. I thought, man, what a day to go in there and get my stand put up, sneak in there and all that. And just there again, 80 degrees and 38 mile an hour winds. This is about as good a day you could ever pick to go hunting. So I go out there and I got my stand, I walk about 10 yards from my truck. Thought, you fool, it's right at the end of October, you don't never go nowhere without your weapon this time of year, so at least carry it with you. So I carried my bow all the way to the tree stand. I laid it down, got on that tree stand, started going up there, wanted to hang my bow hanger up there and get myself all situated around and all that. I got about 3 jumps up that tree, and I thought, well, you fool, you going up this tree, you better tie your bow on there, I wasn't going to do nothing, just run right up there and tie my bow hanger on and get back down. Well, I had a couple of refreshments with me, and I went up that tree there, and 80 degrees, climbing a tree, walking in there and all that. It was time for
Cold beer.
One of my people that I watch on YouTube says a step 2. I don't know if y'all watch Steve Wallace, but he's got a good little get up going on. But it was time for a step 2 at 25 foot high in my tree stand. Well, I sat there and maybe I exaggerated just a little bit, I didn't take 2, I took 6. I was sitting up there and I popped the top on that first and I was watching things around me, and first one went down good. Reached down there and got the second one. By the time I got to about the third one, somewhere right there, I was just sitting up there and I thought, heck, I might as well hang out. It's just 45 minutes till dark. See what happens. I had a bit more thought that, and I looked down. Like in 10 yards of me, all I could see was the hind end of what looked like a Holstein cow. It was that wide. It was monstrous. My first thoughts is, golly, you better be paying attention. That could have been a big buck slipped in on you like that. By that time, he made one step, and there was over a 20-inch spread rack with 13 points come out from behind that tree. In one move, and that's all I had before he stepped into my cover tree, which was a dogwood tree growing right in front of me, and my next shot would have been over 30 yards out. In one move, I grabbed the bow off the bow hanger. Did not have to be overly quiet. You're in a 38 mile an hour wind. Just do it as fast as you can and be efficient. I grabbed that bow off there. I pulled it, come to full draw, and I absolutely, the first thought that went through my mind is, I am at full draw. My pin is perfect, and he is not spooked. And I was just sitting there, I really think savoring the moment so much. I was just like, you've got to turn loose. You've got to turn loose. And I remember going through that thought, just got to turn loose. And I'm a finger shooter. I turned that arrow loose, and it couldn't hit any more perfect. That deer took off running down that hill, 30 yards down that hill to the very bottom and went across a ditch. When he went up that other side, it looked like his chest was getting so close to the ground. Just didn't look like he was doing good. Last I seen of him, he was about 60 yards, but still making great time. He runs up through there, and everything just kind of fades out. Not the sudden stop that you really hope for. It just kind of runs out of hearing. Heartbroken. You can't hear real far, but I was hearing the crashing. He was crashing through a lot of stuff. I could hear a lot of that. You could just, the wind was blowing so hard you couldn't hear the running in the leaves, but you could hear big stuff breaking. And it just kind of faded out, blended in with the wind. I knew he'd gone out of my hearing, which probably wasn't very far. Went and got my buddy down out of the tree, ran 7 deer off of him. He was a little upset with me there at first, I think, but we got down there and we looked for blood for a little while and found a little bit, not much, nothing like what that shot should have been producing. Well, went back and got the old man, really one of my dad's best friends and one of the old guys that really did a lot to help me out, Frank Payne, help raise me. Took me a lot of times when my dad was down and out and he couldn't. Frank would come back and get me, make sure I kept going. He knew I loved hunting, fishing. He took me hunting and fishing when my dad was down and he couldn't do that. Went back and got them, and Frank's a good tracker. He's probably 75 years old at that time. But eyes might have been fading a little bit, but still Frank had a lot of knowledge. He knew which way a wounded animal turns. Hey, we went in there, we found a little more blood than what we found originally and looked for several hours. Nothing. Just lost it. Went back, supposed to be really, really bad. That front coming in, supposed to be really bad winds, really bad rain, like over an inch of rain. Somehow or another, God willing, it didn't rain that night. I got up at daylight. As soon as it started breaking daylight, I'm up getting ready. Well, I realized Frank and Pat was still there. They hadn't gone nowhere. Jimmy was still there. Everybody started getting up, moving about. And I'm like, y'all not hunting? No, we're going to go look for the buck. My intentions was just going there, and I walked. I was going to go there and just start doing grid searches, just back and forth. Being colorblind, I can't see no blood on the ground. Kind of sucks when you have to track a deer. You always got to find somebody to help you. But me and Jimmy got up and we was ready way before Frank Pat was. And Frank hollered out the door of his camper there and he said, "Son, go on over and get started." He said, "Me and Pat will be in there in just about 30 minutes behind you. She's fixing us some breakfast." Okay. So I went on over there, jumped out, and Jimmy wasn't much of a tracker. He went down there and got on the blood trail. Maybe he was. I don't know. I shouldn't say he wasn't. He didn't find much, but none of the others found much either. But things wasn't going as fast as what I wanted to go, so I wanted to go ahead and, I can't blood trail at all. So I started doing my grid search. So I'm going back and forth, and I hear it dodge of Frank's coming up the hill. Hear it coming in there. I just turn and I'm still just going back and forth, just trying to make sure I'm not overlooking a single inch of that place. If there's a tree lap laying there, I'm looking thoroughly in it because I know them deer will dive up in a tree lap. Their last dive will be, a lot of times makes them tough to find. So many people lose their deer, and so many deer that you lose, people would be sick if they realized how close they were to it. It just another 30 yards, but they just couldn't find it. But I was doing that grid search, and I looked out there, and I seen a big old white belly laying there, and just funny how a man's mind works. He's like, first thing went into my mind, there's a dead deer. Gosh, I wish that could be mine. Like another deer just went 100 yards at the end from where I shot it and just happened to die, and it's freshly laying there dead. I go running up there, and man, I seen that big old rack laying there. Its head wouldn't even lay on the ground. It was sticking up off the ground, way up off the ground, and I mean, its ears was hanging down. It was sticking up off the ground so much. I'm like, holy cow. Oh man, that's my biggest buck, and one of my finest moments. And the only thing that prevents that from being my finest moments is my dad couldn't have been there. I just
What year did this happen?
1997. My dad was still alive, but he was getting down in health where he wasn't doing as well.
So how old was you then? You'd have been
97. I was born in 1964, so 64. You're making me do mathematics here.
in your 40s? No,
Yeah.
30s.
Yeah, probably 36, 37, I think. Let's see here. If we did the 64 to 100 would be 36. Is that right?
Minus 3. You've been 33.
Yeah, 33. Yeah. Oh, and some of the other stories that I can tell. I mean, this is some stuff I can sit and tell stories that. One of my dad's buddies, he was a storyteller, and he's like, if you ain't never done nothing, ain't never been nothing, you ain't gonna believe this shit. We'd get out here at night, ride around, all these old roads. There's miles and miles and miles of these roads out here, and this is back in the 90s when nobody really cared, nobody was really looking or anything. You could get you a six-pack of beer, you don't want to, just get out and ride. Just do nothing but just ride these roads, just looking at deer, looking at raccoons, looking at everything, just listening to music on the stereo, just getting out and riding. Well, I had this big old Ford diesel, big old black shell on the back of it, good looking truck, big aluminum Alcoa wheels on it. Man, it's a badass truck, man. We had that thing out here, and it would, I got a mechanic that did some work on it. That thing, it'd get it. And we'd out here on them Shirk roads, and we'd had a beer or two, and hell, we'd come around these dang Shirk roads there, I was slinging that thing out a little bit, just playing around, and hot dog, we'd come around, you never see nobody up here, we'd come around one curve up there, and my gosh, there must have been 20 men standing out there with flashlights, waving us down, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Waldo sticking beer under the seat and everywhere else. He's just trying to get shit's hid. And, I pull up there and I said, what can I do for you fellers? And they looked at me just totally confused. They heard that big old Ford coming. I had that thing a bellering, rolling them gravels. We're sliding through them curves and all that, just having a blast. And they said they'd been listening to us coming for 3 miles, and he was telling all of his men to get out of the road, that there was some maniac coming. Well, it was a group out of Fort Campbell that they had dropped off over here. I think they actually parachuted in here or something, but they put them in here in the blind, and they had to navigate their way over to a place next to the Piney Campground. They had to, with just their basic stuff. They couldn't get on the roads and walk. They had to navigate straight through the forest and all that. So that's pretty cool. Well, we rode around all that night. We went back over, and old guy in the camp there, he'd been cooking some big old pot of chili. He had that ready. We come back in there, and we're sitting there eating that chili. Start hearing something coming down the hill. The hell, sounds like a damn herd of buffaloes, looking through the dark. It sounded like, as they got closer, it sounded like people coming down the hill, and they was falling and crashing. And it was our fine military from Fort Campbell. There's 5 of them, and I'm not prejudiced, male chauvinist or anything, but they were led by a lady captain. Somewhere in the process, they had lost every frickin' flashlight they had. From in a 30-minute. They've only been dropped off like 30 minutes ago, and now they don't have a single flashlight, and they've got to navigate 20 miles to the Piney Campground. No flashlights. They've got their maps, but they ain't got no lights to read them with. And they said that they seen our fire from the top of the hill up there, and said they're just going to meander through there. And I mean, they kind of snuck in on us. We didn't know what they were, who they were, or what. Just all of a sudden, I mean, I'm just realizing whatever this noise is, it's human. And now I'm seeing the silhouette of somebody, and they're not coming in. And I'm like, I turn around to the guys with me. I said, what the hell's going on out here? And my whining boys hollered, and they said, well, hey, we're something out of trainees out of Fort Campbell over here and all this. And, well, the old guy fixing the chili, I mean, the first thing he said was, well, hell, come over and get you a bowl of chili. Well, they got in a I think there's 5 of them. They got in a little huddle over there, got that lady in there that was the director of, and apparently she caved in. They weren't supposed to be eating nothing but natural stuff or, doing without or whatever the case was. Well, we fed them people. My gosh, they were swelled up. They sat over there for a few minutes and they was talking about they had to make it all the way to Piney Campground. Well, I thought, hell, this ain't no problem. I got this big old Ford, got that blacked out shell on the back of it, and hell, get in there. They got in their little huddle again. All right, they come out saying. They climbed up over the tailgate of that truck. We got to flying through there. Oh, Waldo says, hey, you know this direction you're going for? We just run into all them damn people standing there a few minutes ago, didn't you? And I'm like, well, I didn't really put that thought process together. We go up there, I mean, hell, we're within just half a mile of it then. We come around there and damn, hell, they all are still. And they flagged me down again. That's right out here at these forks in the roads. You know what I'm talking about? There's two sets of real three-way forks there. It's on the second one going out.
Okay.
But we went out, coming back this way, I was going to take them back road, coming out around by Naval Bay and go out down there and hit the road and take them down to the Piney Campground and drop them out. Well, we got around there, well, all them flashlights, they got that flash just down and all that. And I pulled up to them, and I mean, this is the second deal I've had with them. And that guy said, first he shined that light up here and said, oh, you again. He says, I'm glad to see you've slowed down a little bit. And I said, well, thank you, buddy. I said, what's going on here? Y'all having a trying paper sale or something? I said, what's up? And he got to tell me about all the deals. I mean, first time he told me they were just people from Fort Campbell, and I didn't really know none of it. And then he got to tell me about, well, the whole time I'm sitting here talking to him, I bet you these damn people in the back of this people were shitting bricks thinking they were caught. I talked to him for about 5 minutes. I said, guys, we going to get on down here. We got more stuff to go look at. So we take off. We get down there. We drive in people all the way over there to the Piney Campground and let them out. I guarantee you they were the first ones to win that race. They didn't have a damn flashlight one. They'd lost every flashlight they had in the first 20 minutes of the process. Yeah, it's all kinds of just stories like that. I mean,
I want to hear the van story again.
I don't like talking about that. That's
Not on camera anyway.
That's something we really should not have done. I mean, that's.
All right, so what? You got a few years left in you. What's a goal or something you can try to the rest of your lifetime? What are you gonna try to accomplish up here?
Honestly, I mean, it ain't nothing about trophies, dude.
Just enjoying your time.
Yeah, learning how to enjoy more. Learning how to. I mean, I don't get out there early no more. I mean, I took all the nasty out of deer hunting, and gosh, I enjoy it. I don't like getting up. I mean, I'll stay in there till dark now. There ain't no doubt about that. I like that last 15 minutes. I'll stay in there as long as I don't shoot with sight, so it gets a little bit tough, I mean, I shoot a recurve bow, and it does get a little bit tough shooting when it gets dark, but, I mean, I get 20 of that last 30 minutes. The last 10 minutes, I mean, you're allowed 30 minutes after sunset. That last 10 minutes, I generally don't use. I don't feel confident in being able to see as well as what I need to be able to see to complete that shot, but I don't get up and go out there early. You went out with me yesterday morning and messed you up something terrible, I know, but I mean, things has changed from what there was 2 or 3 years ago. There's a lot of people doing what we're doing now. 2 or 3 years ago, you could do this type of stuff, go out there any time of day you want. You don't have to worry about nobody being there because there was never nobody in these positions. But now boat hunting ain't what it was. I mean, it really ain't. You know, just as recent as 3 or 4 years ago, boat hunting was absolutely unbelievable. Just about anywhere you wanted to go. Now, and I mean, hopefully it might be a cycle. Who knows? But right now, there's a bunch of people boat hunting. I mean, everywhere you go, if there's not a boat sitting there, you can see 3 or 4 marks on the bank where boats have pulled up. You know, that's something that 3 or 4 years ago you never ever seen. I mean, just a few hunting videos, which I mean, they're great. They're great. I've watched all their hunting videos. I'm not going to take nothing. The hunting public is they're an absolute awesome group. I mean, they're doing it the right way. They're promoting the right thing. And they're very, very educational. I just wish they hadn't give up that secret that we had, but I'm glad to see other people getting to enjoy it, you know. I mean, I'm winding down. I want to see more people enjoy real hunting. I mean, I grew up with people that hunted, if you want to call riding around at night with a spotlight, shooting them off the tractor while we're baling hay, or, you know, I mean, I try to explain to all those people that, you know, you're not getting the thrill. I mean, gosh, it's almost like an electric cord or something stuck to you, and when you're sitting up there, and I mean, it's really bad. If you've been 3 or 4 days and you ain't seen a deer or nothing, and then all of a sudden you turn around there and, man, now you just got a dose of 440, just, whoo, gosh, and I mean, you can't control. I mean, you just go into a shake and fit, and I mean, it's an addiction. I'm an addict. I cannot get enough of it. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and admit I'm a dreaded hunting addict. I'm a fishing addict. I've said that for years. I can't take it in small doses. You've called me all summer long. You know, hey, let's go do this. Let's go do that. I mean, I really never ever wanted to admit to you that I'm an addict. I can't take it in small doses, dude. I mean, I worked 9 months straight to be able to take 2.5 to 3 months off. And I mean, buddy, I'm gonna tell you what, I do a lot in that 2.5 to 3 months. A lot. I'll be on several different lakes, hopefully in pursuit of the double-digit bass. I mean, I love chasing them big bass. I intended to fish Santee Cooper a little bit this year. I love the Chick. I mean, that's a great lake. It's seen its better days right now. Hopefully it'll come on back.
I have heard it ain't as good as it used to be.
Do what?
I have heard it's not as good as it used to be.
No, the big fish like it was there, they're not coming out like as many, but there is still a few of them. There was people coming. I mean, there's people coming from all over the United States, Japan, and Mexico, and I mean, I think there was several different countries that was sending several people. That we were getting a lot of people out of Japan, a lot. But that Gustafson or whatever his name is, it's so good that lives down there on the lake. I mean, I think he Australia, I believe. I mean, he literally came from Australia, moved on to Chickamauga, and now he's a professional. I mean, I think he was probably a professional bass fisherman before that, but I may be saying this wrong, just a little bit wrong, but he's got that Aussie accent, you know, really interesting, and I mean, it sells, you know, it sells. Anything that's outside the lines just a little bit, that's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. Everybody, the norm.
I know exactly what you mean. I like being different, and I don't know, it makes for better stories, I guess.
Thanks for watching this video. I just want to jump on here and say that I had an awesome time running around with Hutch last week. I learned a lot from him. He's very intelligent when it comes to the outdoors. If y'all have any questions that y'all would like for me to ask him in future episodes maybe. We may go that route. Just drop them down below in the comments, and next time I get with them, we may go back this year. I don't know. Definitely can go back again next year. Maybe we can make another video similar to this one. But thanks for watching.